Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody back to week 2 of the blogs that we have going on. As I mentioned in my first blog, each week we're going to break down an Apple product or an Apple app and kind of talk about how it works and the different features that you can use within your classroom and methods that you can use it within your classroom. As always, if you have another idea or another interesting feature that you've used, please comment in the box below because we're always trying to learn from each other, and that would be fantastic. So without further ado, this week we're going to look at one of my favorite apps, an app called Numbers. And within Numbers, we're going to really break down what I call conditional highlighting. I truly feel like as a teacher, we're living in a world that wants instant feedback, and you can design your worksheets within Numbers that can give instant feedback to these kids by doing conditional highlighting within your worksheets. So with that said, I'm going to kind of give you a tutorial on how to do conditional highlighting, and then I'm going to show you specific worksheets that I've designed for the students within my classroom. So I truly hope you enjoy this tutorial on Numbers, and as always, if you have any other ideas of how you use this product, please comment in the box below. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so what we're first going to look at in the Numbers app is conditional highlighting with number values. So you're going to be able to tell a kid if they're wrong or right based on the number they insert. So first we're going to click on a paintbrush, and then we're going to go down to Add Conditional Highlighting, and then we're going to put equal to, and we're going to say the equal to, the answer can be 1, and you can make it whatever you want as long as it's a number. And then we're going to say if the number is 1, then we will conditional highlight this cell to be blue. So what you've done right now is anytime you put the number 1 into the cell, it'll change blue. So let's test out this and see if it works. So I'm going to insert 1, and then I'm going to hit return, and it turns blue. So now let's say you wanted to tell the reader if they're wrong. So what we would do is we can also go back and put another rule, so you can add multiple rules into your box here. And we're going to go back to the paintbrush, and we're going to go back to add a rule. And this time we're going to put not equal to, and we're going to say it's not equal to 1. So any number other than 1 will be wrong. And so we're going to say if it's not equal to 1, then the cell should turn red. So now what you can do is you can go back and test it. We're going to go test it here in just a second by putting a number in 2 and watch it change colors. So mathematically, you can go ahead and create these worksheets by having kids solve problems, and they have to insert values in there, and it'll get instant feedback whether they're wrong or right. So what we'll look at next is an example of conditional highlighting with numbers. If you notice, I've designed a worksheet here where students have to write equations based on graphs. On the left-hand side, the students will fill in the red cells, and if they fill it in with the correct number, it'll turn blue, giving the students instant feedback whether they know the objective or not for the day. That is why I truly enjoy the Numbers app so much. Now we'll look at conditional highlighting with text. So this time we're going to click on a paintbrush again. We'll go down to Add Conditional Highlighting, but this time we're going to click on Text, and we're going to click on Is, and we're going to say, we're just going to do a true-false question, so we'll type in true. So if a student types in true, what happens? We're going to say it turns blue, meaning it's correct. And then we want to add a second rule, because what happens if the student types in false? Well, we want the cell to turn red, saying that that is incorrect. So now you've created a true-false question, and we're going to go back here and check our rule to make sure that it works. So if I type in true and hit enter, it works. If I go back here and type in false, it should turn red. And it works. So what if you're worried about your students not spelling the word correctly? Not necessarily true or false, but any words. What you can do is you can also do a text highlighting that says it starts with. So this time we're just going to say it starts with T, and we're going to say it's going to turn blue. And then we'll add another rule and say it's going to start with F, and it'll turn red. So maybe if you teach a younger group, or if you have a students that you're afraid will not type the full word in, this is another way to put in conditional highlighting so that you can ask questions based on true or false. Now we'll look at an example of conditional highlighting with text. What I've created here is a factoring worksheet, and so you notice it does involve numbers, but I can type in all this text and they have to match the text exactly here. So I'm typing in 3 times x plus 2 and close my parentheses off, and notice that it works. So this is kind of combining numbers with text, but you get an idea of how it works. The last thing we're going to look at is formatting cells with conditional highlighting. So I'm going to click on the paintbrush, but this time I'm going to click on Format, and then I'm going to click on Pop-up Menu. So I'm going to create a multiple choice question. I'm going to keep it true or false right now to make it simple. So I'm going to type in true for my first pop-up, and then type in false for my second pop-up. Obviously you can change it to whatever you want. Then I'm going to make sure it starts to be blank. So now what you've done is when you click on the cell, a value will pop up saying true or false. Now you can create these pop-up cells, and so you can select true and select false as well. But what if we want to tell the students if they're wrong or right? Well, now we can go back to cell, and we can go and insert a conditional highlight. So this time we'll say if the cell reads true, then we'll change it to blue. And we'll add another rule if the cell reads false, like we've learned how to do, then it will turn red. So now you've created a pop-up menu so your kids don't have to type anything in. So if you're ever worried about kids spelling stuff wrong, so it gives you an idea of creating a pop-up with conditional highlighting. So let's take a look at this in a worksheet format. Now I've created this worksheet that the kids have to create graphs and add these images in, but then once they're done and they've added these images in, they're going to start comparing all these graphs. And so they have this table down here. It's a true-false table. So what the kids will do is they can click on a cell and these pop-up menus come up whether they're true or false. And so I'm going to give you an example here when I click on a cell that if you notice here it comes up true or false, so they can select it. And this first statement is false, so it turns green. And this next one is actually false, but I select true to show you that it does turn red on this as well. So it gives the kids instant feedback, and they're comparing tables, or comparing graphs rather, and so you kind of get an idea of how to take this to the next level with their worksheets. So I hope you've enjoyed the Numbers app. I simply love this app because it gives instant feedback to the kids with using the conditional highlighting, the formatting of cells. As always, if you have other ideas of how to use this app, please comment in the box below, and we truly hope you've enjoyed everything. Thank you.